People are not afraid of public speaking, they're afraid of public shaming. They don't want to look bad in front of a lot of people. Right?
Manoj Vasudevan.
Manoj Vasudevan.
World champion of public speaking.
He's the CEO of Third Expression, and he's on a mission to help 20 million people.
My suit is good. You're worried about how you look, right? And what will the audience say something about me? Will I fail? Will I look stupid? What will I think? Will I ruin my reputation? It's me.
What do you do when you tell a joke and no one laughs?
When you grow too much beyond your comfort zone, it's like you're breaking a thermostat setting. So once you cross it, you feel, and if you do not master these 5 core skills, it doesn't matter what you master. You'll always be performing under your true potential. So the 5 core skills.
So you became a world champion out of 35,000 people. That's huge. Yes. Like, when was the moment that you started to believe that was possible to become the world champion?
That's a great thing. So one thing I did was study every contest speech from 1986. Some 25, 27 years of content. And as a listening, I started taking notes, like re-engineering and see why would somebody come in third, why was second, what's first. Essentially it's asking why would the first person connect more than the second person or the third person, right? So the small stuff, so I made like a notebook full of content. And once I studied that, I said, this is easy. Now I know what the formula. Now, of course, you don't have to go and read all the 25 years, because eventually I wrote a book about that. After I won, one of the things I documented everything I learned in a book called How to Become the World Champion of Public Speaking. Because I essentially wrote a book I wanted to have when I started.
Nice.
So when I figured out that, as we said before, when there's clarity, there's confidence. Yeah, when you're clear, a plan of action, you have confidence that you can do it, right? That was that. Of course, you keep on learning new things as you go along. Well, that would be the moment.
What was in that journey to become the world champion, what was a limiting belief that you had to overcome to help you to win?
So I had a number of limiting beliefs. One of the limiting beliefs, I was not good in English. English is not my first language or second language. It's technically my third language. And so I was worried about, will people understand what I'm saying? People was commenting on my accent. So one of my limiting beliefs was, will the Americans laugh at my jokes? Right? So I can get other Asian, Indians, a lot of people were laughing at my joke. But in Asia especially, people are laughing at my jokes. I said, if I go to America, will they laugh at my joke? So actually I traveled to America, like stayed there for a few weeks and then started going and speaking different places. What I found was actually Americans laugh at any joke. And they're like, they want the speaker to be successful. They're
nice.
like, they're really listening. I found an audience who actually pays attention. So it's easier to connect and easier to get them involved. And they're participative. And I found, so in the end, it was a limiting belief. In fact, one of the questions I asked, I had written feedback from the audience. I said, did you understand? Is there any word I said you didn't understand? What about my pronunciation, accent and stuff like that? I said, what about my pronunciation? And one lady wrote, you speak better than most Americans.
Wow.
And that's when I realized in America itself, there's a lot of US itself, there's a lot of different dialects and there are different styles of speaking, which each of them is hard to understand in some context. Like if you watch a Hollywood movie, right? Certain things you don't understand, but you just go along, right? So when she wrote that actually was the evidence to show that I was not as bad as I would have thought, but far better or getting there. And that was one way of creating new evidence for a new belief.
Wow, that's nice. So you had evidences and then you start like breaking that belief and you're like, actually, this is not true.
Yeah, it's not true.
I love it. And you use a lot of humor in your presentations. What do you do when you tell a joke and no one laughs?
Okay, so this is actually a very good question. this is what most people don't get it, right? So when you're telling a joke or when you're speaking, you pause when people laugh.
Okay.
And when people don't laugh, you don't pause. You just continue as if it was not a joke. Yeah.
I love it.
So then it's easier rule of thumb.
Yeah.
But once somebody asked me, how can I be more funny? I said, you need to increase your confidence. And the reason is you need to be confident even when people don't laugh at your joke. But what will most people do? They tell a joke and nobody laughs. Oh, this audience is so bad, you know. Oh, come on, these guys are so useless guys, you know. So they actually become negative towards, hostile toward the audience, and it shows in their body language, in their non-verbal signals, and the audience also disengages. So it's like you get used to that conversation with the audience. It's like a conversation, right? Sometimes I tell a joke, you might not laugh. Some thing I thought was not funny, you might laugh, right? So it's just like continue the conversation, but when they laugh, you give them space to laugh. In US, they say don't step on their laughter. And something I learned from the US. So this don't step on laugh. So if they find it disrespectful. Yeah. Like for example, you are just laughing, and then I keep on speaking. It's a disrespect to you as the audience, right? So that lesson itself is a powerful lesson. That means if you're laughing, I'm supposed to stop. But if you laugh too long, I may have to keep continuing because I have a limited time, right? So yeah.
It is funny. Like for me, it happened one day. I said something really serious, and I put a lot of intensity and drama into it, and everyone started laughing like crazy. So that happens. But what I like about you, it doesn't matter. Like it's a conversation, but you need to be confident, right?
Yes.
So talking about confidence, like what do you observe in the like you coach many people? What is the biggest block that people normally have when it comes to public speaking?
Okay, so people do have fear of public speaking. Right? Most people will not even go on stage to speak. Even some of these very accomplished people, right? Some people in very high position, they are afraid of speaking. And the reason is people are not afraid of public speaking, they're afraid of public shaming. They don't want to look bad in front of a lot of people, right? This is like a conditioned belief system, right? About expressing your views, and this is counterproductive. So they always come with when I say they, most people come with the impression, I need to make a great impression. I need to impress the audience. I want to impress the audience. And most people are teaching and learning that way. Like, I want to impress the audience. But no, it's hard. They're not looking for you to impress them. They're trying to learn from you. They want to listen some new thought process or learn some new stuff, right? So the intention is different. So if you think less of yourself and more about the gain for the audience, you have better chance.
You like that? I really like that. I really like that.
Okay.
Wow. If you have been getting value from our videos, don't forget to subscribe so we can give you even better content and you can stay updated with new episodes. So hit that subscribe button and I commit to bring you an even better show. Good. So maybe you can illustrate that. Do you have any powerful story of transformation that you witnessed with one of your clients?
So one story that comes to my mind is a guy. He is so terrified of public speaking. He has cerebral palsy, and so he speaks a slur and walks with a bit of a bit shaky when he walks. And but he has a lot of achievements. He has done a lot. But if he's in the meeting room, he asks me to stand up, he will not even stand up and speak. He doesn't have friends beyond, talk to people outside his friend circle or family, that kind of guy. He then speaks, after coaching, he speaks in front of 5,000 people without fear. And he gives me advice how I should be improving, right? And he has millions of views on online. So the point is his name is Hidesh Ramchandani. You probably look him up online. And the idea behind that is, as I said, first is to be coachable, willing to help, willing to take help, right? Only then people need to ask for help, right? Most people will not ask for help. They will just suffer and take excuses. So that's a great point on his side. Second thing is coachable. And third thing, he was willing to believe in what he can't see. Believe in a better future, right? This is in psychology known as the expectation effect, which is like you are willing to imagine a future even though there is no evidence of that happening.
I think something that you said, so for you had a lot of beliefs that were limiting you, right? Yes. So something that you mentioned in other interviews, it's about the upper limit problem, right? Which is exactly that. And I would like to go deeper in that, but I find it very, very, very fascinating. Can you elaborate what it is and why do we have the upper limit problem?
So the upper limit problem is the word that originally coined by a guy called named Gay Hendricks. And see, the idea behind the upper limit, we all have upper limit, right? So the essential idea is when you grow too much beyond your comfort zone, you will do, it's like you're breaking a thermostat setting, like a air conditioned thermostat setting. So once you cross it, you feel subconsciously need to do something stupid to self-sabotage you to come back to the same level.
Wow.
So one way to break that is what I noticed is to normalize that conversation. So I normalize the religion. I'm not intimidated.
I love that. And you know what? It happened with me when I became a director in a company for the first time. So I was looking at the directors like, oh, they are the directors, you know. And then I became the director, you know. But then when I look back, it was like in a matter of days, nothing changed. So I was already at the same level as them, but not in my mind.
Yes.
And it's exactly what you're saying. And that's what stops so many people, you know, like, it's like, first thing is about, you need to believe that it's possible. Like you believe that it was possible to win the world champion, right?
That's true.
If you didn't break that upper limit, you wouldn't become the world champion. Then you developed to overcome that. I know that you developed something called the world champion mindset, right?
Yeah.
So tell us, like, how can we have that mindset?
Okay, that's a very good question. This is something I figured out. So when I even said how to become the world champion of public speaking, the first thing I wrote was the mindset. And I started calling it the world champion mindset. The idea behind that is to believe and to see yourself as being counted among the best in your field. In not just in any domain of expertise, see yourself, what if you were the best in that field? Or believing that one day you can be counted among the best in that field, right? What happens is, essentially what you're doing is you're benchmarking against the best. And the best usually have some tricks that the mediocre people don't know. Yeah. So if I ask my friend for opinion, he gives opinion at that level. But if I ask somebody who is like really topper of the field, their perspective is totally different. They tell you stuff that took a lifetime for them to learn, and if you're willing to listen, you save a lifetime to learn, right? And so benchmarking against the best, but the moment you do that, of course, you will have limiting beliefs, right?
Yes.
You said, how can I do that? How can I benchmark against the best? I'm not nobody, right? I'm like, who am I to dream so big? How can I imagine I'm the best? I can top that field, or I can be a topper in something, right? So that is again a belief system. So you have to upgrade your BS, as in upgrade your belief system, right? Your belief system. And this becomes a very important aspect of identifying those limiting beliefs, and I call it transcending that belief. In fact, I say no belief, no relief. You need to develop that belief system. And one person that can really help you is that you're finding a mentor. Right, somebody who stands by your side, spots your strength and weakness, and that's all champions have mentors, right? All the athletes have mentors, like coaches, but mediocre, when you are at counting as ordinary mediocre, you'll never think about having a coach or a mentor. This was me before as well, right? When I learned I was not good at selling and no clue of selling, I actually went for a sales training. Because I used to say salespeople are this manipulative people who actually, I don't want to do that job, Then when I went for the sales training, selling was about serving, explaining the product better for the service of the client. And, okay, that thing I can do. You don't have to manipulate it. You just need to be accurate in the explanation, be ethical and stuff like that. And then sale naturally happens, right? So, everybody has a limiting belief, especially when I say world champion minds. You always have that limiting beliefs at each level. So continuously identifying and transcending the limiting belief, having a mentor by your side. And the mentor should be someone who allows you to go beyond themselves.
Oh, I see.
A lot of people say I have mentor and coach, but subconsciously they want to be made in their image, the mentor's image. So the mentor becomes the upper limit.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Your mentor becomes the upper limit. So you have to choose a mentor who allows you to go beyond them.
Yeah. So now we already know how to move beyond the upper limit and to have the right mindset. Now, if I want to be a good public speaker, what are the strategies that I need to do in order to achieve that?
Okay. So first thing is think less about yourself and more about the audience. Right? So I say there are 3 milestones in public speaking. First milestone I call me. Then your focus is me. How do I look? My suit is good. You're worried about how you look, right? And what will the audience say something about me? Will I fail? Will I look stupid? What will I think? Will I ruin my reputation? So me. The second milestone is message. And the first milestone is that's where the fear of public speaking comes, right? You're always failing. Second milestone is message. I mean, you know something, you have something to say, you know how to say it, you know some techniques and strategies, but you always compare who else is speaking. Who else is speaking, right? So I had a speaker come to me recently and said, "Oh, Manoj, look at all the other speakers speaking in my conference," right? He's a good speaker himself, but his thought process is about who else is speaking, right? So that's a message. The third milestone, if you adopt that mindset, you will connect with anyone, anywhere in the world. I'm sure you're curious to know what that is. It's actually called messenger. Messenger is your role, is your journey of life taught you something. You're there to provide to the audience so that their life can become better. Or their situations or businesses, whatever it is, can become better.
I really like. Yeah. And now, let's go into the secrets, your secrets on how you craft a really, really good speech.
That's a great question, because going with the approach of what is the audience going to gain from out of me I call it, there are a number of things you do, but one core thing I would say is asking what is your funda. What is your funda? Funda is an acronym I use essentially it's a fundamental, but funda is what do you want the audience to feel after listening to your speech? What do you want the audience to unveil? Yeah, unveil as in what's the new thing they can tell? What's something new we can tell them? Then they go, never thought about that. Learn something, right? So what do you want them to notice? What is because a lot of leaders, especially at the senior level, they're always busy going from one meeting to another, and they're not paying attention. So you make sure they notice the context of the topic, the problem, the promises they made before. So it's like making them alert to the topic you're talking about. Otherwise, they're not paying attention. You just deliver a speech and go, and nobody listens, right? So feel, unveil, notice. Then what do you want them to do? That's D. And just because you ask them to do, they will not do it unless you tell them what they will achieve.
To break the fear of public speaking, what is one tip that people can do in order to break that fear?
One core thing you do is you change your self-image, the way you see yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is very deep, actually.
I know.
People have to change the way they see themselves before they can be the person they want to be. So basically, it's like buying into the vision of what kind of person speaker you want to be and trying to build belief in that. So in that online course, essentially what I'm doing is, I don't call this as in this terminology I use, but I'm helping people to bust the myths they have about speaking. Yeah. So because typically what is people doing is, people look at a speaker and say, I want to speak like that person. I can't speak like that person. I would be a bad speaker. Right? So one question I asked one audience I recently asked, who do you think is a great speaker? And somebody said Barack Obama. I said, okay, who does Barack Obama speak like? And they go, speak like Barack Obama. That's exactly what you do. You speak like yourself, right? Then of course you learn the techniques, but essentially is the way you start to see yourself as. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big one. That's a big one. So you change the way you see yourself, right? And how to do that?
So one problem is, that's why a lot of educated, accomplished people suffer, because they don't see the value they bring to the table. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes uneducated, unqualified people do really well because they have nothing to be afraid of. So one thing to remember is failure is not final. Right? Failure is not final. One of my presentation actually show images of from nature. A tree falls down, it grows from where it is. You cut off a branch, it grows from where it is. You put a seed on top of a rock, the root will go all the way down the rock to the soil to find nutrition. So essentially what you're always doing, you're reaching out to the soil for nutrition and you're rising yourself towards the direction of the sun. Right? So if you take inspiration from nature, you can see that your core objective in life is for full expression. A tree doesn't grow like 5 feet and say, oh, I grew too much, I want to stop. No, it just grows as much as it can grow. And sometimes in coaching we say, there is a gift in the garbage. What you look as a garbage, there could be a gift. Right? One great example, there was a big company. It was, I don't know how many, hundreds of employees definitely, and they closed down. And when they closed down, and because there was no success, they closed down. When they closed down, they realized, what do we do with it? We had a lot of different tools, we had closed down. Then they took one of the tools and sold it as a different offering, and that became $1 billion company. And the company is Slack. It actually came out from the ruins of a company that failed. So there's always gifts in the garbage. So look for the next best thing you can do given your situation. But the key is if you can expand your self-image. I would say enlarge your self-image, because you can only be as big as your self-image.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, one great book about this is a guy by the name Malcolm Mal's Psycho-Cybernetics. His book's in 1960. He was a psychiatrist. He was a plastic surgeon. Malcolm Mal's was a plastic surgeon, and he operated on a lot of people to remove their scars and disfigurement. And they realized some people, even after the operation, they think the scar is still there. They don't feel good about themselves because then he researched more on this concept of self-image and realized self-image is like the servo mechanism, like the motor that drives you to your goals. So he brought a lot of focus on the idea of self-image, and a lot of subsequent all self-help books eventually are based on that theory of psycho-cybernetics, like to expand your self-image. But it's because otherwise you constrict your growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think this ties back to what you were saying about how to break the upper limit, right? You need to normalize, you need to break the beliefs about yourself, right?
Yeah.
So it's the way you see yourself, right? Yeah. That makes all the difference. Like, wow, that is really good. Good. So, but what's the real reason why you wanted to learn public speaking?
So what I realized was initial part of my career, I was growing based on my skills and contribution. Right? I was growing. Then at some point it stopped. It was like, and that's when I really started looking at people who actually become successful in their personal life and professional life. I literally read people and studied, and I figured out they mastered 5 core skills. And if you do not master these 5 core skills, it doesn't matter what you master. You will always be performing under your true potential. So the 5 core skills is one, ability to connect. When you meet someone for the first time, how do you connect with them? So that they know you, they remember you for a longer time, right? And also know you in the right way. So second is ability to communicate. How to express your thoughts clearly, confidently, and convincingly. Third is an ability to network. And now network has a negative connotation. Most network is something bad. But actually network I see as building a network of relationships so that you get the right help when you need it the most. And the next one is the ability to lead. How do you lead people? Manage by exception, building high performance teams so that your time is not spent too much. I always say busy. The best leaders are never busy. Yeah, they're not running around like headless chicken. So the great leaders have lots of time. Yeah, so that's leadership. Then next one is an ability to influence. How do you convey your idea, but also get people on your side? Rally people behind your ideas. So those are the 5 core skills. Connect, communicate, network, lead, and influence. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's deep.
I'm deep listening.
Yeah. That's good.
Very good. Okay, we come to the end. Thank you so much for coming. I love your energy and thank you for sharing so many tips on how we can better improve our public speaking. And thank you for coming.
I'm so happy to see you and happy to be on your show.